look, I've been critical. DC, Marvel these days have been on a losing streak in terms of the comic books. Say what you will about the movies or whatever, but in terms of the books, they haven't been doing a great job. In fact, they've been pretty bad, like very bad, in terms of the direction, the lack of respect to what happened before, legacy of these characters that they have, leading with these social preferences, not even good analogies, just straight up beating you over the head, like they don't know what they're doing. But the tokenization is one thing that, I have a lot of problems with because it just shows a lack of creativity. We talked about Children of Adam, where we got these characters with these powers copying powers of X-Men. So you got Black Gambit, Black female Gambit. You got White. Oh, well, he's already right, but you got Cyclops as a female with a Karen cut, like shit like that. It's just lazy, lack of creativity. And we know that we have a problem with this. But a lot of people, when it comes to not just in the comic books, but also when it comes to live action depictions, for example, now you see all this tokenization. Now let's get this out the way. No character is tokenized by accident. I know you might like the characters. A lot of y'all like Iris West in the CW, though she's not Iris. I don't care what you say. A lot of y'all are you tolerate a lot of that tokenization. I don't care. That has nothing to do with what I'm saying. No tokenization is on accident. Hollywood specific with their castings and all of that sort of stuff. It's no such thing as an accident. It's okay. We wanted black version of this character, so that's what we did. Okay. But when you see tokenization also in the form of, let's say, another character, another version of a character that's already existed, a lot of the excuses that you hear is, well, we have to do that because you wouldn't support characters that are new, or you wouldn't support it to the, a similar degree, or, all these characters were created back in the gap. So we have to kind of try to make it more reflective of the real world. So we have to race change instead of coming up with new characters because you wouldn't support. That's the excuse that they use. And these are terrible arguments. All it is a deflection to try to get the heat off of them because people are pointing out, guys like myself, their creativity is just bankrupt. They are creatively bankrupt. But there's something that exists that is also continuing to grow in the West that proves all of their ideas to the contrary. All of them. Tokenization, race bents, race changes, copies of characters. In this day and age, with so much connectivity, I'll give you tolerating it, at least to some degree, because not all tokenized characters are equal. I've said, like, She-Hulk is the best handled tokenized character to ever be in mainstream comics. A lot of that stuff makes more sense back then, but there's no excuse these days. The connectivity is through the roof with the internet and all of that. You can introduce new characters in a capacity that you just simply couldn't do back in the day. So especially now, that should never be tolerable. If you want to make a new character, you can do it. And there's something that's growing in the West, even more, that proves all of what they say to the contrary. Anime and manga. The Japanese are able to sit here and come up with stories that are new. They're not like long standing. I'm not talking like the Dragon Balls of the world that have been a thing forever. No. I'm talking these fools are turning hits into something that was created less than a decade ago. One Punch Man was not that long ago when it was created. My Hero Academia was not that long ago. So why on earth can they come up with I'm talking brand new, launching entire universes, worlds that are brand new? Not to mention they're not like beating you over the head with the political or social agendas. That's never mind that. But these things are like brand new. That is every day. Like, I'm not that big into it, but every day I hear new manga, new anime. That's just a hit. And it's like, watching something that I've never seen before. May it be influenced on something that happened before? Yeah, but it's like entirely new. It's a new thing. These characters, there's no predating. No, it's just new. The whole thing is just new. How can they continue to do that? And I'm supposed to hear these mainstream books who probably have more money, mainstream holders of these mainstream comic books. I'm supposed to be like, yeah, well, they got a race changer because manga and anime, it's existing right now, and it proves all of what you're saying to the contrary. They come up with new stories based on characters that have special abilities and everything. Like it's almost like it's going out of style. They do it so much, it's easy for them. So why can they do it, but the people that have, like the DCs or the Marvels of the world, seem to have so much trouble, or the excuses that, well, we can't come up with creative characters that people support. Well, the Japanese don't have that problem. Maybe it's actually you. Maybe it's the people that are part of your projects. Maybe it's the creative directors. Maybe it's the writers. Maybe it's the producers. Maybe it has nothing to do with this idea that the market doesn't want that, or maybe that has nothing to do with it. Maybe it's simply you are creatively bankrupt. So what you do is you lead with your social political views, like as in that has to be what comes first. You have to do race changes. You have to do sexuality changes. You have to do all these forms of different tokenization because you are incapable of coming up with a new character, new likable things. When the Japanese, and of course you got independent comics here as well, but the Japanese especially are doing it like it's nothing. I'm talking stuff that came out within the last decade, bro. That is brand new and fresh. You the first and best dressed with DC and Marvel, so you should be doing that like it's going out of style. You can do it, you just don't have the capacity to do it in the terms of like your creativity. And I don't think that's what they want to concede. That the people that they have on their projects don't know what they're doing. Ain't as good as what you think they are. And because it doesn't get off the ground or something like that, you want to take their easier route, you have to say things like, well, we have to tokenize because you wouldn't support it otherwise. It's more reflective of the world, when people like myself have been screaming to you, if you have such an issue, never mind that DC and Marvel have encyclopedias of new characters that can be of characters that have existed for decades, that can be expanded upon. But you creating a new, fresh character should not be that difficult to do because, again, the Japanese have done it. That's kind of funny. It's kind of funny though, right? Because I've credited these new fresh characters that Marvel recently created as like one of the better new thing, them trying to make an attempt. And what was that? The New Agents of Atlas. What does the New Agents of Atlas, what do they look like? What is Arrow? Arrow, Swordmaster, Wave, White, that Fox. Asian characters. It's almost like it's almost like they just have more creativity than you do, and you bringing in Ta-Nehisi Coates of the world and Vita Ayala. Don't know what the hell they do. They don't know what they're doing. I even think about that. New Agents of Atlas. All those characters are basically influenced by the Asian, culture, and those are the more recent things that we can point to new fresh characters. Arrow, Wave, Swordmaster, even that stupid bear thing, the little chick with the bear, Io, or whatever. Even those are just more creative. It's an attempt. Now, my favorites, of course, are going with the Arrow and I think Wave. Those guys have definitely Arrow. Arrow's probably the number one to me. It's no excuse, is what I'm saying. The Japanese do it all the time. So I ain't trying to hear nothing about it. That's what you gotta do. This person was we got that a bad argument that the whole best person for the job. That's not a thing with Hollywood. That doesn't exist when it comes to like how they cast characters or something like that. No, that's not what happens. We already know it's not a thing. That's specific with it. But if you want a new character, you can do it. You just don't have the capacity to do it. And maybe when you do try to make a new character, it sucks. So you blame it on the idea, well, they don't want the new character. No, you just don't know what you're doing. That's all. That's all. So give it a shot. But stop making bad arguments. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.